everybody, this is T-Fig from T-Fig Bass Player. I want to talk to you about today about the Avengers Endgame movie and the fun facts. Okay, and also if you haven't seen the movie, I wanted to let you know that this will have some spoilers. Okay, well, the first fun fact I want to talk to you about is how, I know that everyone knows that it was fun to see them. I think Marvel, they had a plan, of course, to connect all these movies together. And also I'll start with how really they dealt with going back to the past with Steve Rogers and with Peggy. Okay, with Steve Rogers and Peggy in Captain America, the First Avenger. Okay, of course, that's where in Captain America First Avengers, Steve Rogers first met Peggy Carter. Okay, and at the end of the movie, okay, Captain America is in a plane and at the point where he's about to crash. Okay, well, there at some point in the movie, they did promise to meet each other, Peggy and Steve, to go dancing together. Okay, and also this will be very important towards the end of Endgame. And then also with Steve and Peggy Carter is that in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, you see Captain America going back and looking for Peggy Carter, because at this point, of course, she had already went on and lived her life. Okay, well, he goes to her house. Okay, Steve goes to Peggy's house and sees Peggy and talks with her and sees she's an older woman, and they never point out or anything about Peggy having a husband in her life. Right, during interviews or whatever they had shown in the past with Peggy, she never had a husband or mentioned her husband. Okay, and Captain America, I thought that also with Captain America talking with Peggy, between let's say, Captain America First Avenger and Endgame, there was a television series, and it was about Agent Carter, Peggy Carter's character. Okay, and it showed pretty much her adventures after Captain America First Avengers movie. Okay, now that TV series aired on ABC, and it lasted a little while, but eventually it did get canceled. Okay, and we didn't get a ending, with Agent Carter's TV series. Now, going back to the second fact I want to talk to you about is the dance shot they show at the end of Endgame with Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers. Okay, well, it was shown that at some point that Steve Rogers did travel back in time and change history to where he got a chance to live his whole life with Peggy Carter. Alright, now, most of the fans, or all the fans of these movies, the Marvel movies they've shown, or the Captain America movies. If you remember that first Captain America, the first Avenger, like I said, they had promised, Steve and Peggy had promised to dance together, and that never happened. Well, at the end of Avengers Endgame, okay, we see, like I said, that Steve Rogers did time travel and change history to where he got a chance to live his life with Peggy Carter. And you see him and Peggy dancing at the end of the movie. Okay. Now, the third fact I want to tell you about is that during the funeral scene at the end of Avengers Endgame of Tony Stark, they glance at all of his, the other friends he had and other heroes, and while the camera's glancing around showing everybody, it also shows a young boy from the Iron Man 3 movie. Of course, he's grown up at this point, and I thought that was cool how they brought him back, alright, for the ending of the Avengers Endgame movie, and they have him at Tony Stark's funeral. Alright. Okay, the fourth fact I want to talk to you about. Alright. Like as I said with the Marvel, I think knew what they were planning with these movies, with the Avengers, and especially with going off of Steve Rogers, Captain America, and using him kind of as the person to follow along with. Okay, and as I mentioned, the Avengers Endgame movie was an ending to the Avengers movies, but it was also on the side, and I know that some people may not have caught that it was a ending, as I said, for the Agent Carter TV show. Okay, now a fifth fact I want to talk to you about is that with the Avengers Endgame title, okay, now there have been at least 3 other shows or movies that dealt with the end of whether it was a season or just a movie itself, using the title Endgame. Alright, the first movie that I remember using the title Endgame was the Highlander Endgame movie, to end the end the story of the Highlander franchise. And Highlander had a TV series, it had movies. The TV series had Adrian Paul, and it lasted a while, and the movies of Highlander had, at that point, was all pretty much Christopher Lambert. Now, Highlander Endgame was the final movie for Christopher Lambert's character in the Highlander series or movies. Okay. Also, the next movie to use the title Endgame was really a TV movie, but it was a television show, Star Trek Voyager Endgame. Alright, it was the last episode of the show, and it showed them going back, making it back to Earth, and ending the Star Trek Voyager TV series. Alright, and the third show to use the Endgame title was Law and Order SVU. This was fairly recent. Okay. Now, this is not a part of the Avengers Endgame fun facts, but it is just another extra fact I want to mention that also in Iron Man 2, okay, there's a scene where they're having their expo and the robots start to attack. Alright, well, during the attack, one of the robots comes at a young boy who's wearing an Iron Man mask. Okay, now, while this is going on, you do hear a voice of a woman, and she yells the boy's name, and you hear her yell, Peter. Okay, and Iron Man saves him. Okay. Now, many people think and have come to the conclusion that the boy that Iron Man is saving in Iron Man 2 at this scene is a young Peter Parker. Okay? Just thought I'd throw that in as an extra fun fact. This is T-Fib Bass Player, and I want to thank you for joining me. Alright? If you like the videos I've done, go ahead and please subscribe. And thank you very much.